Celebration Church, we are down to our last speaker. Last but certainly not least, she's been a part of Celebration Church her whole life. She's gone to National Fine Arts multiple times in the category of short sermons. And I love when Kim and I came to Celebration Youth about a year and a half ago, came to Celebration. She's one of the most welcoming people we've ever met. She instantly was just like, hey, Pastor Josh and Kim, how can I serve you guys? What do you guys need from me? She has a generous heart, a servant's heart. She walks in the steps of Jesus every day of her life. And I'm so thankful that I get to do ministry with her. And she can preach the word. So get excited, make some noise, and welcome Abby to the stage.
All right, well, good morning. I'm very excited to be here, very honored. So thank you again, Pastor Derek. But I've been reading Psalm 78 lately, and I truly believe that the psalmist is saying something very important in this verse, something that's for every person in this room. And so I'm just going to be talking about the importance of wisdom, the importance of receiving wisdom as well as sharing wisdom with others. And so, like I said, Psalm 78, verses 1 through 8 says, "O my people, listen to my instructions. Open your ears to what I am saying, for I will speak to you in a parable. I will teach you hidden lessons from our past, stories we have heard and known, stories our ancestors handed down to us. We will not hide these truths from our children. We will tell the next generation about the glorious deeds of the Lord, about his power and his mighty wonders. For he issued his laws to Jacob. He gave his instructions to Israel. He commanded our ancestors to teach them to their children, so the next generation might know them, even the children not yet born. And they in turn will teach their own children." Verse 7, "So each generation should set its hope anew on God, not forgetting his glorious miracles and obeying his commands. Then they will not be like their ancestors, stubborn, rebellious, and unfaithful, refusing to give their hearts to God." Like I said, there are two things here that I think the psalmist is telling us. And the first is, open your ears to wisdom and instruction. Verse 1 says, "O my people, listen to my instructions. Open your ears to what I am saying." When we humble ourselves enough to acknowledge that we don't know everything and we cannot do this life on our own, we can put ourselves in a position to hear the wisdom of the Lord. Because wisdom doesn't come from us. It doesn't come from someone else. It doesn't come from anything but the Lord. And so when we humble ourselves and we turn to him, we know we don't have to do this alone. We don't have to try to figure everything out and do it all by ourselves. But he can guide us. He can guide our every step and teach us the way to live this life. That's a beautiful thing. And that he can teach us wisdom directly when we ask him and through our life and through the things that we do, as well as through other people. That's why we have community. That's why we come to places like this with fellowship, so that we can go to other people like our parents, our neighbors, our youth leaders, our mentors, people that we can trust to give us wisdom. And we can have discernment to know what is wisdom and what is not. And then we can learn from that wisdom and apply it to our lives. That's so, so valuable. And the second thing is tell the next generation. Verse 4 says, "We will not hide these truths from our children. We will tell the next generation about the glorious deeds of the Lord, about his power and his mighty wonders." For me, this verse reminds me of, as we read in the Old Testament, there were generations that followed the Lord, and they knew him. They knew what he had done for their people, and they would tell their children so their children would know. But there were people who didn't tell their children, and a generation grew up not knowing what God had done for their people. That is a sad thing. It's a very dangerous thing. And that's why, even if you don't have kids of your own, and even if you do, you have been put in a place of opportunity and responsibility to tell others, to tell the next generation of believers who God is, about what he has done for you, what he has done in your life, just his character, his mighty wonders, his power, the glorious deeds of the Lord. And so I think that's so important that we acknowledge that that's an opportunity that we all have, every person in this room. And so don't miss out on that. So tell the next generation. Verse 8 says, "Then they will not be like their ancestors, stubborn, rebellious, and unfaithful, refusing to give their hearts to God." The verse before it is saying that each generation needs to put its hope in Jesus anew. And so when we tell the next generation, it's not in hopes that they will have the same relationship with God that we have, but that they will then cultivate their own relationship with the Lord and know him personally, that they then can tell their own children. They can go out and tell other people, that they don't have to live in the same brokenness and pain that we may have had to. They don't have to make the same mistakes that we did, but instead they can live a life walking with the Lord. And like I said, this isn't limited by age or life stage or what your life looks like. This is for everyone. So whether you're younger or you're older or anything in between, and whatever your life looks like, open your ears to wisdom and instruction and tell the next generation. And so with that, in a moment, I'm going to hand it off to Pastor Lewis. But I want to thank Pastor Josh, even though you're not here. I want to thank you for just giving us students this opportunity, and thank you for the way that you have led Celebration Youth on behalf of our ministry. We're so grateful for you, and we love you guys so much. We're so excited for you. I also want to say again to Pastor Derek, thank you for this opportunity and this honor on behalf of all the students who have spoken today. And thank you all.